SARS will have to take over and explain all the procedure. From there we'll go to the scale. SARS will also have to take over. From there we'll show you the temporal structure that we normally use during festive season, and then from there we'll move to South Gate to North Gate. So let's proceed, and then when we walk, we'll be passing here. We have got two demarcation. The passenger, where we are now, is the passenger section, where the buses, light vehicles, and mini buses, and also Malaisha, we call them, they come here, and then we process them here. As we proceed down, she will take over, and we will have to proceed. Thank you. We can have you. Sorry?
Yeah, no, it's fine when we
to us last time, your last visit at Beitbridge, wherein give you the feedback the first week. With the bicycle issues, we are no longer having the problem.
give it to
The one month. You were no trauma.
No.
What is a gone now?
The dynamic process, but once this one is on, the other one is on the next. That's how the
As the minister indicated that when you close here, they get the other opportunity.
Can you go this side? It's better this side. This is the process of cargo. All the trucks that arrive at the port, they do the pre-clearance. The pre-clearance is being done electronically, which is part of modernization. Then there's a compliance hub in Gauteng, Cape Town, and Durban. So the trucks, through their clearing agent, they will process, they will submit the document through the system. Then when the truck is here, it already has the message proceed to port. So when proceed to port, then they will arrive here. There's an officer there. Then they will present the manifest that has a barcode. Then they scan that barcode. Then it has marked for arrival. Then it will go through. If there is an inspection, the system will indicate. And also, like, we collaborate with BMA, which now agriculture is part of BMA. Then if there's an inspection for agriculture or port health, it will indicate. Then they will go to the ramp. Then after that, then it will go that other side. You'll see where now they mark for our exit. Then they go to Zimbabwe. So procedurally, we don't process within the port. It's just the issue of inspections, or maybe when the truck has challenges, and just that because of the infrastructure challenges, you'll find that mostly from our import side that are coming from Zim, they will come and enter the control area before they can proceed. So our processes are modernized, but because of infrastructure challenges, you wouldn't see that effective, because now we've got one bridge. I think they will show you that one bridge, that all the trucks and the vehicles, they have to go through that bridge. If we had this bridge operating, then we'll have small vehicles on the other side. And that will be our plea to you, Minister, to say, can we utilize the other bridge so that we can ease the congestion here at the port?
Can you use another bridge? Are you saying there is a bridge?
The old bridge that it can be utilized for small vehicle, but they will explain when we're that side. That will ease on the north gate. Okay. Yes.
So when the truck leaves from wherever to here,
Yes.
you get to know about it before it arrives.
Yes, we get to know about it, when the truck will leave on their way, then it depends on the distance. But they communicate with the clearing agent, which in other words, maybe other business would use it a broker. But for us, it's the clearing agent, they register with us. So they are the one that submit on behalf of the importers or exporters. So then once now the documents are ready, then they will send a message to the clearing agent to say proceed to port. Then they will be coming. We know that then the truck, maybe then it will be here a day or 2 days before. But the truck will not stop here without having proceed to port, because they need to be scanned here. You'll be only able to be scanned here with that proceed to port. Then the system can say cool. Then we've got also enhanced the NPR, the cameras that are automatically our marking for arrival and exit. The officer is just able to just confirm on the system to say it is marked for arrival. If it wasn't for the infrastructure challenges, because you can't even separate, then they will have installed the boom gates, the robots, where the automated boom gates that will open and close. But it will be part of the redeveloped port and one-stop border post. Yes.
So what actually, if you have such a system, then why traffic? Why long queues of trucks?
We
take long to enter the port.
Okay, we don't have that much challenge for Beitbridge now with the long queue after the Zimbabweans have completed the infrastructure. Mm-hmm. However, like I've indicated to say, due to infrastructure challenges, we are bound to, at some stage, to hold trucks and allow small vehicles because they go through the same bridge. And also when we are pushing this side, our Zimbra, they sometimes communicate to say our parking space is full. And those are the infrastructure challenges that we happen to face, because now that bridge you will see, we use it, it's only 2 lane. We use it for trucks and small vehicles. And in an ideal world of business, you can't do that because it's going to congest the traffic. So that is the other challenges.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is Sandra, because this is the N1.
It's N1. Yeah, it's Sandra.
It's Central that must build the bridge.
I think it looks at the infrastructure.
Yeah, that side. And also looking at the trucks being on top of that bridge, then it becomes also the risks. But we'll explain when we're that side that you can be able to see.
Okay.
Okay, Minister. I'm trying to suppress my system.
Because we're now in a lint.
Minister, this is the entrance and also the exit for the trucks. Are we not going to go to the scanner? Let's go to the scanner and then we'll go that way. I think that will be for the best. So this is a 2 lane only for arrival and departure for trucks.
trucks only.
Yes. No, these ones, they are normally our clearing agents who will go there, that side and drop the documents that is needed between all the NGOs and SARS.
So why are they parked here?
No, this one is a, remember, due to our infrastructure, this is the arrival part where all our travelers going to Zimbabwe, they have to come here and process and be processed when they are heading to Zimbabwe. The other side where we were, it's arrival. So which means everyone who's coming into South Africa, they have to be that side. Be it the bus, the mini kumbi, they have to be that side. Even the bus.
This one is this traffic.
Yes, it's going to South Africa.
It's going to South Africa.
Yes.
Why then are they parking?
Remember, it's a process. She'll have to articulate that one.
Okay.
Why are they trucks?
No, they are moving. Unless this one's got a challenge, but I saw the truck be marked for arrival. Like you see, this one are idling, so they are moving. The only time they can get stuck for a very long time is when we've got mechanical issues. But if a truck, maybe the caught smuggling or whatever, then they will find a way of returning it back. Yeah. And for now, because we're allowing the entrance to come in, we put the to a hold on the movement of the trucks because we don't have enough space, so they will be moving. Happen here. I think because we've got the other challenge also that it's been, I think the BMA executive leadership, they will be working on it. The risk within the port, we've got residential within here. You will see it, residential for officials. It becomes a risk because now you don't have access control in terms as government or as law enforcement, because you don't control who comes in besides the officials. So if now we need to expand the port, I think then that's where DPW comes in. The land, I think they'll have to expand it to that way, but I don't know what is the plan. But all these warehouses, they'll need to. So these are the residential that I'm talking about. All officials, SAPS, immigration, SARS, they're staying there. So you see, they're supposed to be government's land actually, not private people. So normally this one, that's the parking for export that are going that side. It's empty, they are moving. So the import this side, like I said, the infrastructure challenges. Then they will come and park here to finalize the documents with the clearing agent. We're going straight, Minister.
All of them to end. Have you noticed? N1, all of them.
Yes, I think to N1. A rail must come on board. And today is not that busy. No, it's not busy. Like you see, export is empty. That's why I'm saying since we no longer face that congested queue on N1, but the trucks are moving.
So do you think, Minister, anyone is congested?
I mean, we can keep up with this.
It's a lot.
No, it's not about
where the rail line is. We used to use trains to deport people. There is a rail line.
Oh, yes. That's what Minister was raising. The railway. So that,
They come to South Africa. There's a line that goes to Botswana, there's a line that goes to
oh, now I'm getting it.
You really need the
Equipment that is
As we're saying, it's now 3 between Durban and Joburg. I was listening to that. I didn't
also
mention that.
reappointing for.
From 7 to 3.
As a matter of fact, that railway line, in its current form, without anything done,
What's
designed for something like 70 or so per day, but in its current form, at least the 20, between 20 and 30. That's what we are told. But they are 3 per day, and then this hour.
But what causes this reduction from metal rail?
It's poor management.
Too much money
Poor management.
or poor management? So operators need licenses.
The problem is that you have Transnet. It is both the infrastructure owner and operator. So the test belongs to Transnet. So if they could provide trains
inside because of the tool will go outside. So this is the mobile scanner for BBR. So it works both for Beitbridge. Use that acronym. Then here is through our risk engine that will come through the hub, and also our intervention risk to identify the but at some stage we become flexible. Mostly it's operating during the day. So last time, I think 2 weeks ago, there was a trial scan, then they identified the explosive on the, what's it call it, on the back and the trunks of the truck. Yeah. So I having a lot of explosive coming from Zim.
Oh.
Yeah. And cigarettes. Cigarettes loaded besides borderline, so they use the pot as well. But been intervening a lot of them.
I'm not familiar with them.
With cigarettes, with cigarettes, what we do, we don't detain because obviously there will be those smuggled cigarettes that are not subject to enter the market. So we'll seize them and follow the process of seizure within Customs and Excise Act. Then within 3 months, then we'll have to distract them through the machine. So when we distract, we have SNDF, we've got CPS for support.
Explosives?
Explosive, we hand over to CPS. We collaborate, we work together. If we intervene something that is within the jurisdiction of SAPS, then we hand over. If they intervene something that is within jurisdiction of us, they hand over. Yes.
that you are saying this operates only during the day. I'm making a mistake. Are these people not targeting
No,
during the night?
they are, because why I will say that they are, once now we change our approach to say we'll have to sometimes not operate during the day and operate during the night, then they change the pattern, come during the day. The same truck that last time was intervened by BMA, then it was during the day. But mostly smuggling happens during the night of cigarettes, trucks. So they are ahead of us, and sometimes we'll say they've got ears and eyes on the ground, because we always have to engage when we have to change our approach in terms of risks.
So why are you not getting the second scan?
The second scan, it's on the pipeline. I think that one, Commissioner, will have to, but it's one of the priorities for the next 2 years. Because Limpopo as well, Limpopo is next, because Limpopo doesn't have a scanner, at least Beitbridge does have. So priority was to say Limpopo must also get the scanner, because that is one of the high risk as well. It's one of the problematic ports in terms of smuggling. Yes. Export, because of the Maputo corridor, Maputo port.
Mozambique now. So the volumes are good. Sometimes when they come back empty. So it's
Yeah.
scary to see what's inside.
It need, yeah. Because Limpopo, most of the cargo that site is mining minerals. The export per day, they process more than 1,000 trucks. So the scanner is needed because these smugglers, they are using the tankers as well. And it's one of the dangerous goods. Officials, as much as you all want to search, but you cannot risk without proper equipment and being trained to open a tanker. And looking at the heat also, you cannot detain a tanker for a very long time. You are going to cause more harm than what you have done. So they are using the tankers to smuggle cigarettes. And it can only be the scanner that can identify that, or when there is intelligence on that cargo.
I think we'll have to complement each other.
You are watching live, so they can't hear you.
It's just show life. No, I'm just saying we probably have to complement each other in terms of the efforts. We met 2 weeks ago, head office SARS, ourselves, BMA and Sandral at our offices to look at the IT technologies that are being utilized by the different agencies and where the gaps are. So we'll have to see how we complement each other without going into details, but I think those are some of the initiatives that we need to look at. Yeah.
Because these things are too costly for the country.
Yes.
That's extremely costly for the country.
They are too costly, and these cigarettes, they are killing the market of the country as well. So it's high risks.
It's a big market, this product.
And the counterfeit goods also, those are killing markets, and they are prevalent in Limpopo as well. Can we go this side?
We can have these scanners operating 24 hours. It will make an impact on a lot of crimes. You must remember that these guys, they start with cigarettes, dealing with cigarettes. Tomorrow it is a syndicate. Tomorrow they kill each other. So it will have a huge rolling effect on other crimes as well. So it's really, but if we do it here, we must also do it, example, at Beitbridge. Because they will know then the year they can't come through, so they will take the other route. But if we can have the scanners available and working 24 hours, I think for the whole country as a whole, it will play a huge impact to decrease crime overall. It's not only on illegal cigarettes, because cigarettes rolls over to something else. You'll find your murders coming, your assaults coming, your infighting coming from those things.
cost if I were to ask of these scanners? So that I can sacrifice my...
This one was from even Devon, the second-hand scanner, I think. I don't want to even estimate, but it's more than 6 million. I don't want to. We'll have to check, but it's cost. It's too much.
But say it's 20 million.
20 million.
Yeah.
It's 20 million each.
Honestly, it's worth it.
Too much.
It's really worth it. It's the 20 million that is worth it. It's the 20 million that we can sacrifice. Then what is happening? Yes. Because by not spending the 20 or 30 million for that matter, what is happening in the country is much more worse than the 20 million. It goes to billions of rands. So it's the money that we must be ready to sacrifice. And just go all out and buy these scanners and deploy them in some of our airports of interest so that we know they're there. No.
The loss is too much to contemplate.
No.
The revenue that we're losing is more than what we get.
It's more than what
So
we...
if we put this in, you will save on the revenue.
Exactly.
It will pay itself back to the country.
It's what is called in economic terms opportunity cost.
Yes.
Of not having it.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It's too much. Okay. I wish the minister was to follow
This side.
This side. Like I'm saying, at the port, we as leadership take a lead to say we work for the country. So there's no competition. We are here to protect the economy. So we need to work together. Like I said, if we intervene something that is within the competency of SAPS, we hand over. They intervene, we hand over. We work together, we do joint operations. As much as it will be different department.
Cluster of government.
Yes.
Hello. Hold.
Okay.
Is there?
Okay, sharp.
Right sound. Right. They test that because you actually the cost to the economy of not investing in these things. But also Central must come to the party in terms of their, because they elaborate plans about the border. But we need to understand what's the hold up on their part. Unless I suspect that they're part of a project, but I think Minister, in terms of the inputs in terms of that process, the border management process, we really need to understand those and be able to input into these other things as well.
Don't the minister listen to the report as a protocol? And then
Minister?
Yes.
I just want to explain this part. When do you utilize it? Because of, I spoke about the infrastructure challenges.
Okay, this is the temporary infrastructure that we utilize during festive season and Easter. As you are approaching the gate, you can turn left and you will proceed until here. Only small vehicles, wherein it's only 5 people and less, so that we can able to alleviate the congestion within the port of entry. So they will be using 2 departs, and then we will process BMA, SAPS and SARS we deploy here. And then as and when it's on the return phase, they will have to utilize the very same place for entering the country. The very same procedure will be followed. All the departments that I've mentioned before will also have to deploy here. These have worked for us for more than 10 years, but if this port can be developed and then in such a way that we can able to have a demarcation for passenger, for trucks, light vehicles, we can able to not to have such structure, because now the nature of our port, the structure itself is also a risk based on the way it is. You can find somebody on the north or on the south, they'll be indicating that they're going that side. Hence, we have this structure, and if it can be developed, we'll be very much pleased, Minister. Thank you.
I think so.
No, the minister hears me.
Oh, okay. When we said tobacco should not be purchased and sold, then the market was like cigarettes. They made money.
They make billions, those people.
They lobby. Their lobby is very powerful.
Yeah, they have.
Money.
Those that are sitting behind the scene.
She's just hakuna anything around it.
We're going straight. where they start from the rain, not
But
working.
these people, they become lions in our country. They're so timid.
Yes.
Oh.
Because of our criminal justice. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes. No one came back to
Minister, this is the vehicle search point. I will hand over to SAPS and also C-BRTA. This is the bring here. Yes.
Minister, here is where we recover a lot of vehicles. I can also attest to that. From January up to June, we recover 41 vehicles. The luxurious one, e.g. GP, double cabs. Yes. And I will hand over to one of the commander around here to explain fully how we recover, because we don't, we do physical verification of the engine and also the chase number. Narin, come close.
Thank you very much, my leader. What is it that I have to say?
Explain the processes.
We
recover the vehicles.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What we basically do here, we inspect vehicles that are leaving for Zimbabwe, Malawi, Zambia, and other foreign countries. When vehicles arrive here, firstly, we check them physically. Thereafter, we compare those vehicles with the papers that are in front of us. We look at the chase number, Then if the chase number is different from those papers, obviously there's fraud, there's a crime that has been committed there. Then we proceed with arrest and so forth. Then when it comes to trucks, the procedure is similar. We inspect them physically, then we compare them with the chase numbers that we see on those papers. If we're happy with that, then we go to the system, we check them in the system again. Then if the information is similar, we are satisfied, we let those vehicles to proceed. But also, if there's something that they're not happy with, we have some experts outside this border who work at VIS. We ask them to investigate on our behalf. Then when they're done, they'll bring back the results back to us. Then we let the vehicles go. Is there anything that you want to all right. All right, thank you. If there's any question, you are prepared to answer.
No, I'm fine.
All right. All right.
The bridge we are going
Minister. Okay. My colleague from C-BRTA, please come closer. Hello?
The director.
Oh.
Director is here.
Thank you very much, Minister. From our side as Cross-Border Road Transport Agency, this is where we also deploy our inspectorate. They are working together with SAPS. So from our side, basically what we do, we check the cross-border permit, the roadworthiness of the vehicle. And then we are also supported by our profiling inspectors, especially in cases where they need to verify the validity of the cross-border permits that they are utilizing. Because there are instances where you will find that the operators, they are using the fraudulent permits. So that is where our profiling inspectors comes in. They will go into the system and check if indeed that permit is legitimate or not. And if the permit is fraudulent, obviously they will have to follow the necessary procedure wherein they will have to make an A1 statement and open a fraudulent case at the police station within the magisterial district where this offense has taken place. And then in case of the buses, yes, we do get a lot of offenses in cases where you will find that they don't have your cross-border permit. As you are aware, Minister, the Criminal Procedure Act makes provision to say we can institute a penalty, so in a case where there is no cross-border permit. So that is what we normally do. So the penalty normally is 2,500 for not being in possession of that cross-border permit. However, the Act also makes provision that such a bus can be impounded. And when it's impounded, obviously, the operator needs to find an alternative means of transport for those passengers so that they can arrive at their final destination. Obviously, the bus will be impounded, Minister. The 2,500. Yes. So now, because we do have a challenge when it comes to the impoundment. We do a collaboration with our provincial inspectors, wherein they have the pound, so they will impound the bus. So in terms of the fines that are gazetted by the MEC, the fine will range from 10,000 for the bus. And then if, for an example, he will commit another offense, he will come again without the permit, then the fine will now increase to 20,000. So depending on how many times he has committed such offenses.
Can you explain as to what actually had happened with the bus that Minister Mufaledi always refers to?
Okay, so
Thank you, Minister. So there's two things that happened. So one is that the bus crossed into South Africa without a permit, without a valid permit. I think that was one of the challenges that we faced. But what happens when the bus gets here? It was a bus from Zimbabwe. It has to have a permit from Zimbabwe that is mutually recognized by South Africa as they recognize ours. So when the bus gets here, the people must come out of the bus and be attended to by Home Affairs, which is now BMA, and produce their passports, and then be validated to cross the border. So you can't cross the border without a valid travel document. So naturally, you have to separate the two processes. The bus process, which is a permit process that Mamaja was talking to, but the passengers inside the bus must also be validated. So there must be a process where they go through your systems and they are actually stamped. So if they don't have passports, it becomes a challenge to explain how they crossed in South Africa without those passports. In the cases of permits, we have a mutual recognition system with our neighboring countries, Zimbabwe included. So permits that are issued in Zimbabwe are recognized by us. They recognize the permits that C-BRTA issues as well. We also have to make sure that those permits are valid at any given point in time. So the first line of defense really, especially as far as the people that cross, would be the BMA in this context, Home Affairs in the past, to make sure that everyone is validated to cross into the country.